Hello and welcome to this tutorial. I'm going to be showing you a very dilute but informative way of using the ILS landing system on a 737-800 Lufthansa aircraft. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to put in our two destinations. I'm using Edinburgh to Glasgow as an example because it's a very short flight. And we need to set up our flight plan. I'm just going to create a quick waypoint. Doesn't have to be accurate because the ILS will do it itself. It will line up with the runway. It's just to get a better idea of when you need to switch it on. And then we're going to find the ILS feather, which is here. We'll just click it, and we need to write down these two numbers: the frequency and the heading. The heading will go into the course, not the heading section on the aeroplane, which I will show you. So now let's switch to the aircraft. Okay, so we're about 31 miles south of Glasgow Airport. So I'm going to get the landing clearance. Sorry. Well, I'm going to request it anyway. Okay, so we've got the clearance, the permission, sorry. What we need to do now is we need to take the numbers that we got earlier and bring up the radio stack, and I've written them down. Okay, and we need to change it to 110 on the standby on nav 1, 110, 10, and then we need to switch it into the active column. Okay, now as you can see, we're about to go to a different waypoint. That's going to take us round. Sorry, I didn't acknowledge the enter instructions. So now that's active, we need to close the radio stack and leave that there for now. Just wait for it to go round the waypoint first of all. I think we can start to bring the speed down to 190 now. So as you can see now, we are turning around the waypoint. Okay, and once we've made the full turn, it's going to turn the speed down to about 150 now actually. And set flaps. And you can put your gear down now as well if you like. Okay, so now once we've done that, we need to go and flick this from GPS to nav, and that will change us again. But then we need to switch this to the course, which is 231. And basically that will line us up with the runway. Okay, as you can see, we'll start turning to the left in a moment. I think I'm going to descend a couple hundred feet too. Okay, and now once you can clearly see that it's lined up with the runway, which it will be in a moment. I'm just going to bring the speed down now and set flaps to full. Okay, now you can see that's clearly lined up with the runway. You need to press the approach hold switch. Okay. And once it has locked on to the approach and it's found the glide slope, it will take the alt hold off by itself, and then it will start descending towards the runway. Usually it gets it when it's near the ILS feather, but in the meantime you can take your plane down a little bit yourself. Glasgow Airport's just over the hills over there. And it's usually around about this point I switch to virtual cockpit, and then I trust it to take it off its alt hold itself. And then all I need to do is press the Z key and turn the auto throttle switch off. Basically just going to watch the alt hold button as it will take itself off in just a moment. And you need to make sure too that you're at a decent descent speed with the auto throttle on right until you get to minimums. Okay, we're close to the ILS feather now, so as you'll be able to see in just a moment, the alt hold switch will go off. Now usually, and it should for you but it doesn't for me, it should give you a bleeping sound to tell you that the ILS is working correctly. Take a look. Okay, the runway is over there, so it should be around about now. See, it's just gone off and we're starting our descent towards the runway. So I'm just gonna make sure my mouse is near there. Now that my mouse is near there, I can just click it and it will turn off the auto throttle, which will let me land at grade. I'm gonna arm my spoilers. Now, if you are in extreme weather conditions, I wouldn't suggest doing an ILS landing because you will get blown off course, and it is really quite hard for the ILS to keep on track, so I would suggest you land the plane manually. Yeah. And I mean that's only in extreme weather conditions, because otherwise it should work. See, as you can see, now that we're starting to descend to the runway, the speed's gone up slightly. Okay. Now, make sure you've got your joystick on hold, or your yoke. Now I usually make sure that my throttle is switched all the way down and off at this point, because you really don't need it by the time we are near there. As you can see on the Popeye light system, it's got 2 red and 2 white. Okay, now you can hear my descent coming into call, and I'm just about to take the auto throttle switch off in a moment, and the autopilot. Okay, now the autopilot's off, and now is the auto throttle 2. Okay, just gonna slowly bring it in. Okay, and then flare your aircraft. Okay. And then use your auto thrust. Bring that open full, and then start to use your brakes too. Okay, now I'm just going to show you the landing from a different point of view, so you can see the actual landing, then I'll show you it from a landing gear too afterwards. Okay, as you can see, it's around about now we turn off the autopilot and the auto thrust. here now we turned it off. As you can see, the plane did tilt forward a bit, and it is going to continue. You see, and now we bring the plane up a little bit to stop it from crashing too hard into the floor. And then we slowly bring the plane down, and then we land it smoothly. And then bring the nose down. Okay. Go closer to the runway, okay, and now you can see the plane never bounced, so you could sell it as a successful landing. I mean, any landing that you get away from is a successful landing. Okay, thanks for watching.